What's the motherfucking deal? Welcome to Sauce Sports. If you're not familiar with Sauce Sports is a Houston, Texas homer channel. I mean, we're talking all sports, but only Houston. And give me a second while I clean this shit up. But you know, we're gonna talk a little bit about a little bit of a rational recap. Let the energy die down a little bit. Let some of the excitement die down a little bit. And we're gonna talk about what took place yesterday between the Texans and the Jaguars. But we have two of the gentlemen from the round table joining us this evening. So who do we have in the mix tonight?
Man, it's your boy Toxic City Tinning, the #1 shit talker. I think it's about time we start getting back on that horse, but let's hold off just a little bit. Let's figure out our team a little bit more.
Already.
And you got your boy Wise with Wise Sips and Sports. I just dropped a video. Everybody got the jokes, so you can go check it out if you want to.
All right, that's a bet, man. Make sure y'all go show these gentlemen some love, man. Links in the description below. All you got to do is slide down, do a little bit of reading. The names are in front of the links, so don't be like, well, how do I find I couldn't figure. If you can't read, then look, you need to go back to kindergarten English, because it's simple. You can figure it out. But you know I got love for y'all, man. But again, hey, we got to talk about plenty tonight. Like I said, we're going to look at mainly what happened yesterday, just kind of breaking some things down with a more rational mind state. But then we're going to look a little bit forward, because this is a short week before we're right back at it like a crack addict. But before we talk about any of that, man, we got to talk about the most important shit happening in the city right now. And if you don't know what that is you, Sauce Nation. So we're going to get into a Sauce Nation roll call. We're going to see who we have joining us this evening, show y'all a little bit of love. And then, like I said, we're going to dive in the deep end and see what's shaking. We don't want the top, we want the live. But the bank not open, and make sure I get the bank open for y'all, so y'all can break a little brizette. already. Let's see, we have Miss Voodoo, see one half of the greatest moderating couple in all the world, Naveed Muhammad, T-Mac, Jay Dizzle, what's the motherfucking deal? Vincent Bryson, Zach, I guess the most faithful Cowboys fan in the sauce. You know, y'all took a loss so we can talk plenty of shit. Wish y'all had Dan Bailey now, don't you? That's that ass. Hector Rodriguez, Voodoo, the other half of the greatest moderating couple in the world. Full of them wings, man. Goddamn, eat 2 wings for me. You know, I've been on the vegetarian kick. I don't even know what flesh tastes like anymore. D. Will, T. Mac. Let's see. Terrence Ford, Joshua. What's the motherfucking deal? I gave you power. Seth Clark, Press Rao, Potato Gamer. Yes, 4-game win streak. Myron Benson, what's the motherfucking deal? Steve, always good to see you. Third Coast, a.k.a. Wink. Check the link in the description below. Check out some of my boy Wink some love, man. Good to see you. S.A. Loco, bunch of numbers. Good to see you. Joshua repping that 409 already. Cool Amber. Imagine being a Raiders fan this season. Man, I was telling Raiders fans for the last few years. I've been telling Raiders fans since the Mexico City game not to get on that bandwagon, but they didn't want to hear me, lasers and all that extra shit, but it is what it is. Ashmael, what's the motherfucking deal? Mr. Killer KB, Leo Garcia, Shelby GT, DeMarcus, good to see you. Texas T409 representing in the building already. Christian Sims, what's the motherfucking deal? So, man, like I said, we're finna get into some good conversation. We're gonna talk about plenty of things that must be discussed. You know, when we go back and kind of recap and look at what took place yesterday. ATX, Terry Simmons, Real Smith, Eric Villa, Panda Bear, good to see you. Already, ATX representatives, always good to see some Austin love in the motherfucking house. So, like I said, man, make sure the bank is connected and we good to go. Looking back at yesterday's game, we are happy to get the win. And again, at this point, coming from them first 3 losses, I'll take them how we can get them, because again, this is the NFL, man. This is not like the NBA. It's not like baseball. Baseball's a different animal in itself too, because I've been kind of, watching a little bit more here and there. It's its own kind of thing. In the NBA, it's almost a bit more predictable, it seems. But any given Sunday or Thursday, as we know, coming up very soon, anything can fucking happen. Deshaun Watson had to take a bus ride to the stadium. Now that's a first. 12 hours to Jacksonville, or however long that took. Came out and did not have his best statistical game. But I think, in my opinion, I'd almost say probably his best game this year, simply for the fact that there were not the turnovers that were expected. He did not get hit as much, and getting hit is not on him. But I'm just saying, as far as an overall team effort in keeping Deshaun upright, safe, him not taking the big hits, because he did break and run a couple of them, and he slid. You know, he avoided the big hits like in Dallas. I think a lot of that conservative play calling, a lot more of the runs in the second half, was to kind of keep Deshaun healthy, you know, knowing that you had a decent lead and it didn't look like Jacksonville was going to be able to put some things together. So I'm not so mad about that. Now, if it would have got a little closer than that, then maybe we'd be having a different conversation. But, hey, it was what it was. You got to keep him healthy, and I think long term. The line. I still have my issues with the line, but what did they only had, 2 sacks yesterday, I believe? Or was it more than 2? I think it was like 2 sacks, or they didn't Cochran just have 2 sacks. But it wasn't this. It was just 1? Okay. And it was then, like I say, it was overall a much better overall team effort on that offensive side of the ball. Lamar Miller, 100-yard game. You know, and a lot of people have been hating on Miller for ever since he's been here. And Tenney brought out a good point, and I believe that was the Foster factor. You know, people were so used to what Arian Foster was doing here prior to Lamar Miller, and I think a little bit was of seeing what Lamar Miller did to us when we played Miami a couple of years back. And I think people had those expectations. But again, to be able to get runs like that, you have to have a quality line. You have to have guys who can move motherfuckers off the ball, and you know, you have to have a coach who's play calling properly. But just taking a brief look at yesterday, what do you see that concerns you the most going into this week? And we'll start with Wise on that one, and then we'll get Tenny's thoughts.
That's a good question. I'm just going to stick with the offensive line, and I'm going to stick with that second corner position, because you don't know what you're going to expect from them week by week. I mean, the offensive line looks good one week, and the next week they look like shit. So I don't know why people think that Miami Dolphins are scrubs, because they're not scrubs. The team is 4-2 for a reason. I mean, they've been getting a lot of dubs lately. Also, that second corner position, Sharice Wright, he didn't do too bad yesterday, but then you got to look at the Jacksonville wide receivers. They did give up a lot of drops yesterday, and you don't know what to expect from this guy either. I mean, like I said, the Dolphins, they not scrubs at all on both sides of the ball, and this is a big game for Brock Osweiler. He's going to have some vengeance, and he's going to come out there to prove a point that fuck these Texans, because y'all paid me $17 million, but y'all should have paid me $25 million. Yeah. But in all seriousness, I still have concerns about the offensive line and that second corner position.
Okay. Good deal. Man, Tenny, man, looking at everything that kind of happened yesterday, like I said, I know we looked at a lot of the good, and it was exciting to get the win, taking the lead in the division. But what did you see that concerns you, man, that the Texans still need to work on, even though they got the win?
All right, so all y'all motherfuckers, before y'all go jump on my back because I say this, Bill O'Brien still concerns me about this. His route trees for his schemes take time to develop, and quite honestly, like I said, we're not built for that. We're not. This O-line doesn't have the talent for that. In a perfect world where we could have O-line talent up there, Bill O'Brien's schemes would probably be netting a lot of shit in the fucking red zone and a lot of like better yards throughout the fucking game. But it's the route trees that he's calling for Fuller and Hopkins, and especially now since Kiki gonna be down, it's gonna change the scheming a little bit more, where we're going to have to rely on those longer route trees. Unless, I mean, I'm completely fucking wrong and I'm just sticking my head up my ass. But, you know, he's got to take fucking Hopkins and Fuller and move them around. Put them in different spots. Put them in the slot from here and then, and fucking use their talent to get them off their fucking game. I get why people think that the Dolphins are trash. The Dolphins are one of those teams playing above their skill level right now. And that's an honest truth. They definitely are firing on all cylinders that they shouldn't be. You know, don't expect this same Dolphins team next year. That's what I would say. So I mean, just think about it, man. When you're going into this game, it's not a trap game. It's a difficult game because our preparedness has been so rocky from week in, week out. And, of course, that offensive line is going to continue to be an issue for us unless we just make this big-ass splash trade after Thursday. But, I mean, just expect it, guys. I mean, our preparedness, when we come into these games, we don't always look like we're on point and we're sharp. And it was the same way with the Jags game. They had a few missteps. They had a few penalties. So, I mean, that stuff happens. But, I mean, that's the things I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about the route trees that would affect the strongest part of our offense, which is the pass game. And then you also got the offensive line that just can't seem to get right. And fucking Rankin comes in for that one play and fucking gets a false start. So, I mean, it's just little things like that. We're killing ourselves. And I know we're on a 4-game win streak, and I should be happy about it. But that shit can change real fast with the Bill O'Brien team. We could just drop another 4. I mean, it's that simple. Shit happens with him. So that's what I'm saying.
You brought up a good point, man. Talking about Rankin, talking about this O-line. And his O-line is kind of concerning to me because we've seen him put it together against a solid front like the Cowboys had. Because I believe they were in that top 5 defense consideration when we played them. And they were solid. Offensive line was solid, was not allowing out, well, except when he got outside the pocket and ran, really weren't allowing like Lawrence and those guys to get to him. Then you see the Bills come in and feast. I mean, they just have their way. I thought you're supposed to eat the buffalo, not getting eaten by the buffalo. But the Bills come in, they have their way. And then you see against the Jags, I mean, they were relatively stout. There was, a couple of issues here and there, but relatively stout. And then you got to give Deshaun Watson credit for escaping some of those sacks on his own. Some of that shit was just some old Magic Man miraculous shit that you just have to have that ability. I mean, that's not something you can coach. That's just having that sixth sense and knowing when the pressure's coming. And so that's why I say that's the thing that just if you could get a decent O-line, what Deshaun Watson would be able to do would be miraculous. But I think it's just a point where sometimes it's just too much pressure too fast. But the point you made about Rankin, man, and I've been super tough on Rankin this year, and I think deservedly so. But at the same time, it's a little bit unwarranted. It's not his fault that the coaches have put him in this position because I think it's a similar situation when you think back, way back, when we first picked up Kareem Jackson. Kareem Jackson came to this team, first rounder, a guy people just expected because he came from Alabama that he was just going to be a star pro corner and everything. But he had no tutelage. He had no leadership. There was no corner on this team to teach him how to be a professional or to explain to him, hey, this is what you got to do. You start to see things kind of develop and change once Joseph came along and, some of that stuff happened. But when it was just him, I mean, you're throwing a rookie kind of in a tough situation. Coaches did not, to me, the Texans didn't have the coaching staff to develop him right. And again, he didn't have anybody on this to mentor him properly into being a professional. And so I think Rankin is in a very similar situation. I was just kind of looking at that Dwayne Brown trade, and essentially we exchanged Dwayne Brown for Rankin, and they picked up Shaquem Griffin with the additional pick or whatever. Now we'll see what happens with that next year when we do it that second rounder. Then we'll see if we really got the value out of it. In the 5th round, okay, yeah. And it was this year's 5th, right? And that was
yeah.
We with the 5th this year. That was because Edgefor was a 6, wasn't he?
He was a 6.
He was a 6. Who did we get the 5th?
I think it was Peter Kalambai.
Kalambai was the 5th rounder. Okay, interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
No, I think we get a 5th rounder this year.
Oh, you think we're getting it this year? Okay, so both of them came this year. Okay,
yeah.
I thought we had picked one up last year. Okay, my fault. I don't know. We got it backwards. But again, but this is what I'm going to say, because even Dwayne Brown, when he was first year, he wasn't. Again, he was a rookie. He had his ups and downs. Let's be honest, because what you got to understand coming into this game, man, these are grown men. When you're a lineman in college, you're used to being the biggest, strongest guy in the program or on the field, or one of the biggest, stronger guys on the field, working in the trenches. And so you're usually able to, when you're good, you're able to dominate. You're usually able to have your way. So I'm not going to count Rankin all the way out for falling into a situation that's not conducive to his growth. But, we got to figure out something. I don't know if they got to get rid of Devlin. I don't know if they got to bring in a talented tackle, or some more talented linemen who can just kind of, again, hey, put an arm around this guy, so hey, man, let me show you the way, young buck, and get you on the right track. Because right now, this coaching staff, I don't know what these experiments that they try to do or what they're trying to do. They're putting this man in a bad position. Again, basically no preseason, and you're trying to throw him in with minimal work, and you haven't had the time to work on the technique to tweak the little things that he has problems with. And then again, throwing him at the left tackle position initially was just, that shit was nuts. But, it's just something to concern. So I just kind of want to speak on Rankin on that for a second. But let's kind of expand. I mean, how do you feel? Because again, like you said, the one play he comes in, whiffs, looks like it was almost fear, like he has anxiety or something out there, like the nervousness is kicking in. I mean, but then there's been times that you see, not very many, but when he does do well, you see the tenacity. You can see the aggressiveness that he has. But majority of the time, he's been getting beat. I mean, do you think that there is potential for Rankin in the future? Do you feel like these guys could develop him? Do they need to bring somebody outside to try to, get that maximum potential out of him? And what do you feel they could do with a guy like Rankin? We'll start with Tenny, and then we'll get Wise's thoughts on that.
Man, I think moving Rankin inside would be a dream right now, and especially with Fulton down. I mean, he would have had some seriously good time this week if we put him on the inside and put him next to was it Kendall Lamb. And that's if Fulton doesn't play, and more than likely he may not, just because of the injury he was suffering. But I would say that Rankin, you make a really good point that he could have a Kareem Jackson-esque fucking ability to improve as time goes on, and that's for any young player. I mean, you can have a bad rookie year. I mean, you can. It's not unheard of in this league that you can come in as a rookie and fail. So, I mean, he can build upon that. I'm sorry. But definitely Rankin has the skill set for a guard in my eyes. But at the same time, it's the coaching staff. They're throwing him into situations that he's not prepared for. He was never ready to take the starting position. And I think that this is a good baptism in fire for him, because he's going to have the opportunity to take this knowledge and either grow from it or end up selling cars later on down the road.
He might be a great car salesman. You try to get off the lot. Hold on. You'll start blocking motherfuckers, pushing them back towards the car. This is the car you want right here, motherfucker. Wise, man, your thoughts. What do you see developing? I mean, what do you see the potential being for Rankin to develop in a quality, serviceable arm? Even if it's not a tackle, moving him inside, or what do you think his potential is, man?
I mean, we've been saying this since the draft. I mean, he's fit for the inside. He's an interior offensive lineman. The problems I see with Rankin is that he's not making a punch. And when you sitting up there and just letting guys run past you, that's a problem. That's a technique problem. That's a huge technique problem, because the fact that you're just letting guys run past you and you ain't putting a hand on them, that's unacceptable. It is the coach's fault that they putting him out of position. This man never deserved to be the starting left tackle. This man never deserved to be the starting right tackle in my books. The guy didn't even play in training camp until the last week, I believe. So how do you make the necessary assessment that this guy should be a starter at the offensive line when you had other guys there the whole time during training camp, one particularly in David Quisenberry? So I just don't understand what this coaching staff does at times. I mean, they play guys out of position, and we ruin a lot of guys' careers like that at times. And it's like, damn, what if this guy could have lived up to his potential if you put him in the right position? But this guy, I mean, anybody can turn it around in a career. It's just his rookie season. It's only been 6 games so far. 7 games thus far. He has plenty of time to turn it around. But hopefully he can find the spot in that interior of that offensive line. But I don't never want to see this guy offensive tackle in my life, because he doesn't have the speed. He really doesn't. He's going to have to lose about 15 pounds, and he's going to have to be running with J.J. Watt every day in the offseason for him to be able to play tackle.
Yeah, they're going to have to get it in. They're going to have to get his ass whooped a few times by J.J. to really understand the nuances. But let's take a look at the other team that we faced against yesterday. Then we're going to get into a little bit of more league-wide conversation, because there's some interesting things that are happening around the league that may or may not involve the Texans, and we'll see what happens. So apparently after the game, the Jags were having a little bit of a kerfluffle in the locker room. There was a little bit of cat scratching, if you will, going on, supposedly. So they were saying the reporters weren't able to get into the Jags locker room simply because There was some fighting going on, so the team was kind of keeping that closed, keeping it under wraps. And then, you see an interview from Ramsey afterwards kind of saying, hey, well, you know what the deal is, but we can't talk about it. And, the funny thing is, because Ramsey is a very generally outspoken person, and I'm sure he had plenty that he wanted to say. What do you think is going on with that team? We mentioned briefly, that when you have a lot of those dominant personalities, when you have a lot of alpha dogs, when things aren't going right, then, hey, sometimes the pack can turn on each other. But I think that's just the problem that comes with it. But what do you really think it is? Because my personal thing is I think they're looking at that guy across the field who got an extension, who's getting paid a nice sum of money to fumble the ball, fumble games away, and put them in bad position. And I think that guys are starting to get annoyed with that. What do you think took place with that whole situation, Wise? And we'll get Tenny's thoughts on that one.
This is what I was telling my boy earlier today. I mean, he a Jaguars fan, and I'm like, yo, this is the same thing the Texans defense have to go through. All these sorry-ass quarterbacks, you putting up dominant performances, but you keep going on the field after a 3-and-out. You keep going on the field after 3-and-out, 3-and-out, 3-and-out. Those guys get tired. They get exhausted. They playing 170 to 100 snaps. You get frustrated, especially when a guy over here fumbling the ball in the end zone, in the goal line, fumbling the ball off of just bullshit. Blake Bortles is terrible. He's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. I don't know why you called it Honcho, to be honest. You said, watch Blake Bortles put up some subpar numbers, and then he do good in the playoffs, and then Jacksonville was going to pay him. And it's kind of crazy that they paid this guy. They had the opportunity to go get a guy like Teddy Bridgewater. They still have the opportunity to go get a guy in Calvin Kaepernick. They had the opportunity to go draft quarterbacks this year, but they still didn't do it. So, it's their fault that they have to put up with that. But I do like Yannick Ngakoue because this guy has heart, and he just wants to win. He's going to go out there. He's going to put up all his effort, and he's saying, fuck that shit. I can't be dealing with this shit. Y'all need to do y'all jobs. He's trying to make his teammates better. He's just trying to make these guys have heart and put it all on the line, try to make some plays, get the defense going. But this guy's due for a nice paycheck this offseason. He's going to be a free agent, and I'll be glad if he leaves the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that would be a benefit to the Houston Texans.
Agree, unless you go to somewhere like the Colts or some shit. Just slide around the division. Fuck that, I'm going to go over here with Andrew. Tenny, man, your thoughts, man, on the situation. What do you think was going on in that locker room? How do you think that's going to have an impact on the team moving forward? And, Blake Bortles is starting again this next game. Marone came out and said, hey, man, he's my guy, man. This is my guy, Blake. Blake's my take, man. That's what I'm going with. So what do you think what kind of message does that send to the team? We kind of saw this, like why I said, we seen that same experience kind of during the 17 season. We're talking about number 17, but not 17 itself. But when 17 was here, and we saw that same kind of situation, and we saw that there was tension. We saw how the fans reacted. What do you think that says to the fans of Jacksonville and that team?
Well, you know what it says? It says a lot because Jalen Ramsey has been very uncensored with what he has had to say about the league. So I doubt behind closed doors he's being uncensored. All right, he's being censored. So, I'm pretty sure he's putting it out there for fucking Blake Bortles to hear the fucking bullshit. Because he's probably sat there and told him, you remember all the motherfuckers I said sucked? You suck too, bitch. And probably ran up on his ass. Probably stood next to Cody Kessler and said, I'm riding with him. I'm going to fucking make sure you don't play again. He was probably saying some raw ass shit. Probably said he sucked on his girl's titties and shit and things like that. So, we all know Jalen Ramsey can be raw. We all know that Ngakoue is playing passionate. He's playing for a paycheck. So he's definitely going to be ready for this. But this team in Jacksonville was not built to survive this kind of meltdown that the offense is having. They have they got an alpha leader in Jalen Ramsey. And then you ain't got no beta on that fucking team. You got guys that are running with the pack, ready to eat, ready to get it. And the guy they're supposed to be fucking dependent on to move that rock can't move that rock. And, granted, they went up against us this week, and you're not going to fucking succeed against our defense. But the fucking rest of the league and some of the teams they dropped games to, no, you can't be putting that shit out there on paper. You can't be putting that shit on film and expect to keep a job in this league. And it's the same thing. Every single Texans fan knew that as long as the fucking Jags have Bortles, we have an opportunity to beat the shit out of them. And it's just the truth. It's an unspoken truth. Until they replace that lackluster talent that he is, the inability to move the ball, the inability to make a proper decision. Like I said, right now, Deshaun Watson and Bortles have similar stats. They're twin brothers in stats before this game, but fucking Bortles for sure doesn't have nowhere near the talent that Watson gives us and the ability to do what he does. And the only reason why our fucking offense has those fucking yards, has those touchdowns, is really because of Watson and his ability to make the play. And Bortles just doesn't have that.
Again, I think it comes to that sixth sense, and I think Bortles just is lacking that. So you were talking about what if Ramsey ran up on Bortles? What if Ramsey did run up on Bortles in the locker room and Blake Bortles whooped his motherfucking ass?
Oh man,
what would that be like? That would be.
Well, I mean, I would still say that Bortles can't win a fucking football game, but I mean, maybe he's in the wrong sport. Maybe he need to be challenging Wilder. I don't know. I mean, if he got hands, he got hands. I mean, that's a given for anybody. I mean, shit, I got hands, but I mean, it ain't like I'm running up on motherfuckers. So, I mean, if he could toss him, he could toss him as long as he wins.
I don't think Blake Bortles winning fights out here. I mean, the dude is 6'5", but I'm pretty sure if Jalen Ramsey would have got slept, Ngakoue would have came back and backdoored on Blake Bortles, or AJ Bouye would have came and backdoored on this dude, because they all frustrated with this guy. And it's sad that he got to go out here and lose games. That's one of the statements I made this week. I was like, this is going to be a tough game, but you can always find a reason that Blake Bortles is going to lose a game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's always a possibility.
You know, it's funny that you said it, but I mean, we all know that Jalen Ramsey might like the back door a little bit. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a sucker lick. Sucker, yeah. I don't know how you would call it.
His baby mama fine. I ain't going to even lie.
Hey, man, they all pose like that. Yeah. They always get the fine ones.
Yeah, man said, because I seen that. Didn't Ramsey get caught up in the DMs not that long ago? He got caught up in somebody's DMs. You know, it is what it is, though. We'll see how that all turns out. But here's a couple of things. Let's talk about what's happening around the league. I want to kind of tie two stories into one, and then we're going to come back to a couple of things involving the Texans. Then we're going to open up the Sauceline. Make sure you guys slide by StaySaucy.com. Check out some of their fresh sauce merch. And for some of y'all, I got some other things coming for y'all real soon. Just give me about a couple more days. I got y'all. So here's the deal. Patrick Peterson has not been made available, but he has made statements basically telling the Arizona Cardinals, hey, I want the fuck up out of here. Y'all on some bullshit. You know, this y'all motherfuckers rebuilding. I ain't got time for this. You know, apparently, according to his cousin, the New Orleans Saints would be his destination of choice, but I don't think the Saints have the assets to acquire him. Now, also in trade rumor news occurrences, Amari Cooper has gone from the Raiders to the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas has overpaid, making a Dallas move as usual, to acquire the services of Amari Cooper, giving up a first rounder. And I think that something that we were kind of discussing right before the stream is definitely going to upset the market, because it seems like guys were going here, there, and everywhere for cheap for, third, fourth, fifth rounders, and you were acquiring some decent names. And now you got a guy like Amari Cooper, in my opinion, he's all right. I wouldn't say he's the greatest. He's good, but warranting a first rounder, absolutely not. And so now you got Peterson out there, and I kind of want to know what you guys would think about, what is the value of a guy like Peterson? We'll get Wise's thoughts on that, then we'll holler at Tenny and get his opinion on that. What would you be willing to give up if you're the Texans, knowing what the Texans have as far as assets, and you can kind of throw any kind of package that you have in mind together? Who and or what would you be willing to give up for the services of a Patrick Peterson?
I mean, just before I made this statement, I had to say something. I mean, at least we're not in a situation like the Cowboys where what's this dude name? McNair is the general manager. Because Jerry Jones is the Cowboys general manager, and you've seen what he did today. But if I was the Texans, I'll give up a second-round pick, one of the second-round picks. the highest pick, whichever one falls the highest. And also I'll give up like a 5th-round pick to the Arizona Cardinals for Patrick Peterson. I wouldn't give up any players because we need all the players that we can have right now. Guys do tend to go down with injuries on this team and on this roster. So if one of those guys were to go down, you'd be SOL. So, I mean, Patrick Peterson is a good corner. He can be an asset to this team, especially on the outside of the opposite side of J. Joe. J. Joe's getting older in age. He has been doing all right. He has had to play a lot of soft zone coverages, but a guy like Patrick Peterson changes the impact of this defense. You can throw a lot of blitz packages. You can play a lot of man coverage again, and you can see a lot of turnovers. You can see the turnovers increase. And then you got to think about the fact that with him and Honey Badger already having that chemistry in the secondary, which is very, very pivotal. And we've been hoping for a corner for a while now. You don't have to risk taking the corner in the draft this year if you pick up Patrick Peterson. And you already know you got you a superstar cornerback. So it's a win-win situation if you go ahead and throw in a 2nd and a 5th.
Interesting, very interesting. Tenny, you're the Texans GM for a day. The Cardinals, and I saw somebody say the Cardinals GM said that they're not going to trade Patrick Peterson. Yeah, I think that's just a ploy to try to raise the stakes, saying that, hey, we want a little more than offered. Because believe it, John Gruden came out the other way before they traded Amari Cooper. Oh, trading Amari? No, no. What? Who? Huh? Like a fucking lying ass motherfucker that he is. John Gruden's a shit ass coach, man. Like he I think he blew an opportunity. I think he's going to be jobless, and I think they're going to give him a first year. They're going to give him a year or two to kind of rebuild. I think he's going to ultimately have maybe 3 years to get it right. I think like halfway through the 3rd season, when they see that this experiment is not working, I think it's going to be the end for John Gruden. But your thoughts, man, if you're the GM for a day of the Texans, what are you throwing at the Cardinals in an attempt to acquire the services of Patrick Peterson?
Well, I mean, I first make that call to the Cardinals. Because if they really grandstanding and they saying, I don't know, we really don't want him, I might come with a little hardball, throw a 2nd in there and probably throw a player in there. And I know this will hurt a few feelings, but I'd probably throw a Cunningham or somebody in there. Somebody in the pot a little bit. I know it's rough. But with some of these trades that they're making out there these days, the pot has to be rich for these guys to bite. And quite honestly, I mean, we got Dylan Cole that'll be coming back off an injury. We can replace him, replace Cunningham, give them a young player. Somebody that was a 2nd-round pick, it's basically giving them 2 second-rounders for fucking Patrick Peterson, which isn't a bad fucking trade at the end of the day. I mean, if you want to be aggressive and you want to really go after somebody right now that we've really taken this step and moved into the first place in the AFC South, and you want to retain that, you want to have that defensive capability, I mean, you gotta be aggressive. I mean, we got a number 2 to burn. Cunningham, he's kind of been on the slide. We need him to improve next year to see some real value in where we drafted him at. But I mean, if we could package him with a 2nd-rounder, I mean, that's 2 2s for a guy who's obviously a 1st-round pick who's worth the money that he's getting paid. I mean, we'd be taking on that paycheck. So, I mean, we'd be taking it on 100%. And we'd basically be just getting a really great cornerback that could set us up for the future. And then we could end up saying bye-bye to Kevin Johnson because he ain't going to be fucking around much longer. So, I mean, we got to start thinking about how we can be more effective through free agency, trading, and signing, and fucking be capable for this draft because we have a lot of holes we got to fix on this team.
All I'm saying is my boy K-Joe coming back after the bye week on a vengeance.
K-Joe thinks he's a motherfucking a trainer right now. He's out there in sweats and shit. He don't know where he's at.
He coming back, man. He coming back.
Boy,
he coming back.
Yeah, he just waiting on the low. He gonna let y'all know. You know what I'm saying? Look. You see his man Howden came back, and that's what I want to kind of get into next. But you look, K-Joe.
I'm trying to tell y'all guys.
K-Joe, man.
They're gonna roll his ass up next to Fedorowicz, where Fedorowicz in the window drilling. Fucking, because that's how his shit go in.
Man, here's the deal. Though. I think you wasn't lying, Tenny. I think you wasn't lying about the folks who was turning. They definitely. I see a few folks not agreeing with the with the trade of Cunningham.
I understand, guys. Don't discount me as some crazy nut job or something, man. I understand your feelings, okay? But I mean, if in all honesty, we always talk about we want them to be aggressive, that's an aggressive ass trade move.
Yeah, somebody look at breaking news. Braylon was here, then a second rounder and a chicken burger would be legit cool. Definitely, that'd be a deal. That's only if he was the GM for. Look, I will give you a year's supply of Chick-fil-A gift cards. You know what I'm talking about, and some pita bread. Goddamn. But here's the deal. All right, I'm gonna talk about Andre Howell a little bit. And kind of what he means, what he brings to the team. Then we're going to open up the Sauceline. Actually, I'm going to address a couple of these texts real quick. First, shout out to Chandler, man. So shout out to Honcho, Wise, and Tenny. My fault because he texted at the very beginning. And I always appreciate that love, Chandler. I always appreciate the calls. I always appreciate the support on the Sauceline. He says, the Jaguar fans are not very polite to us Texas fans. There was a fight. Yeah, I saw that, man. All I'm saying is if you end up going to the game when they're here in Houston, if you feel so entitled to do so, I'm just saying, because here's that, I ain't saying do nothing violent. I don't want to be like, Honcho said to fucking beat that guy up. Honcho told us to do it. No, Honcho ain't say nothing. I'm just saying if you feel froggy, them Jacksonville Jaguar fans just popping off at the mouth, we ain't got no pool to get cool. Man, did y'all notice that fucking pool was full of nothing but dudes? That's the Jacksonville Jaguar pool. I mean, what was going on with that shit? It wasn't nothing but sausage party in the pool at the Jacksonville game. Now, that's suspect.
It was cloudy, too. It was nasty.
Somebody in there pissing in the pool. It might have been a Texas fan pissing in the pool because they was looking upset. Shit, we pissed on them in the game, so they might have got mad about the pool, too. But, no, man, but, like, seriously, though, that was some mark-ass shit because that was that old Rondo-style sucker punch shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, but I mean, it was just some mark shit. Then the chick who jumped in, I don't know what she looked like she was obviously inebriated because she was having some difficulties putting all her motor functions together. But she was going hard from the ground. She was looking like a UFC fighter. When they down, she was trying to kick and trying to punch, and I don't know if she made too many connections, but I give her an E for effort. But I tell you one thing, there was some hoe ass shit was them hoe ass laws because they didn't even like check on her. They stepping all over and around him. You got a man laid out on the fucking steps and obviously in need of some type of medical attention, and y'all just kind of looking at the motherfucker and, well, what's going on here? You know what the fucking situation is. Y'all know what the fuck is happening. Like, at least get the man in a position to where he can, sit down. You got chairs all around and everything. Try to fix the fucking shit. But, that is, like I say, man, shitty fans, what would I say? No trash fans, no trash city, trash fans, trash cans, man. You know what it is. And so it's unfortunate that something like that took place. But again, so if something happened like that here in Houston, I would not have any negative feelings either way to it because, I mean, that's fucked up. I mean, if you're going to catch, at least call a man out and catch a square. If you're going to box, let's box. But you're going to sucker punch the motherfucker with some old sloppy Joe ass hit. That's some bullshit. But, oh, yeah, I got all off track and I started thinking about shit. I wish a motherfucker would. Like, if I catch a motherfucker lacking in a Jacksonville jersey on that, like, hey, it is what it is. Honcho didn't do it. It wasn't me. I say Jay doesn't say we could part with Hal in the pick. Man, that's you're the second person I've heard say that, and I'm kind of look at that wise face.
Y'all fucking raw. And they mad at me. They mad at me. Y'all get mad at him right now.
Man, I saw somebody else say that on
Jay Dizzle, what's good?
I saw somebody else say that on the IG. They was like, man, don't get mad. But here's my thing, man. Here's the deal. All right. Would it be Rick James cold-blooded? Yes, absolutely it would. But would I necessarily be, if it hadn't been any other circumstances, I might say I'd entertain that move. But being what it is, if JJ, had the $37 million and motherfuckers was trying to get rid of him, I think it would be negative on that. I think this is just as bad for him to do what he did, to be diagnosed with cancer early and come back and start and play. That's cold-blooded right there, man. But I don't see that one happening because I think they like the ability of having him there to have that flexibility to move Kareem down the corner. So I think it's going to be interesting. And again, I was ranked pretty high prior, to the season. He was getting a lot of attention. So I don't know if they're going to necessarily just want to come off of him and a second, but maybe him in a later round pick. But again, Hal is my pal, man. I don't want to just do the man like that. He just came back. I think that was some emotional fuel for the Texans this game, you know, like playing for Hal and things like that. So I think that was very interesting. That's cold-blooded.
Jay Dizzle owe us some crow because he was talking all that shit about them Lakers, but you know, they got pieced up on Saturday night, and they took the dub. I mean, the Rockets got the dub, so I think Jay Dizzle owed me an apology.
Jay Dizzle, what say you? But here's the deal, though, man. VD says, replace Cunningham. Dude has been a top 10 player according to PFF the past couple of weeks. Y'all know how I feel about PFF. But Cunningham has looked solid. I think the last 2 games he's looked pretty good. Prior to that, he was having his if, ands, or what the fuck's going on, you know. But I think they've gotten smarter by not trying to have him out on a tight end. But again, the Jags really didn't have any tight ends to really threaten us with either way. But, you know, it's just interesting to see what they've been trying to do with him. But I think he'll get better. I'm not too worried about Cunningham. I like Cunningham. I think that he's going to improve as the years go on, as long as he doesn't worry too much about his guitar playing and music career and just focusing on the football, and we'll be all right with that. Let's see. And we got one more text. We'll do that, and then, like I said, I want to speak a little bit more on Hal for a second. So, Honcho, what are your thoughts on the Dolphins losing both their top wide receivers in Kenny Stills and Albert Wilson for Thursday night matchup versus the Texans? I heard Steele was out, but I didn't know they lost the other dude. But that's cool. That's cool with me because trust me, we gonna talk about that in just a second because we definitely have to talk about the revenge on 17. But I want to talk about Hal for just a second, and not only with Hal, you know, as we tend to look, you know, late in the season, we look at the drafts, we look at things like that. Andre Hal coming back, emotional leader and things like that is good, but you know, this is a contract year for Kareem. And what say you about Kareem? Because I think prior to this season, people would have been like, fuck Kareem. We don't give a fuck about Kareem if he goes, and where else he going to go? Ain't nobody else going to want him. But Kareem Jackson is looking like a premier DB in this league this season. So what kind of check is that going to demand from Kareem Jackson? You got Clowney. You have who else? There's somebody else that's got to get paid. It's slipping my fucking mind. But you got a couple of people you got to play and pay this year, man. And again, Clowney starting to emerge. Early in the season, we was like, oh, man, Clowney ain't finna get that check. But now, being honest, I got a little crow to eat. Clowney has been balling, you know what I'm saying, and playing extremely well. 2 sacks this game. Had a monster game against the Colts. Had a great game last week. What do you think the situation is? I mean, how happy, one, are you about Hal coming back, and then 2, you know, the Kareem Jackson situation? How do we retain the service of Kareem Jackson at the end of the year this year? We'll start with Teddy on that one, then we'll get Wise's thoughts.
Well, man, I mean, Hal coming back, I'm excited about Hal. I felt Hal was a star. I agreed when they paid the man the little bit that they paid him. So I'm very happy to see Hal back. I was a fan of Hal. I mean, just seeing him out there on the field makes me feel better because I know he's a ball hawk and he can go out there and get it. And he fucking plays very well at his position. So, I mean, having him back is just elates me. I mean, it makes me happy. And then as far as Kareem Jackson and this, I mean, this is what we wanted from Kareem Jackson all along. This is the shit we wanted to see from him. Even after his second year and some of those other years where he had some pretty good years, they weren't like the best ever. Kareem Jackson is playing on a whole nother fucking level. This motherfucker bought his Madden coins and upgraded all his skill tree. I mean, he fucking did his thing, and he did it the right way. So, Brian Gaines, you better fucking pay Kareem and make him a Texan for the rest of his life. So, I mean, as long as his career is still here, let's go ahead and give Kareem a nice chunk of change because he's earned it. He's put in the time. We've been patient. We've seen him develop into the player he is today. So, he definitely deserves that pot of gold. So, I mean, give it to him. The man has earned it. If we don't, it's just going to be another fucking reason why we're looking at this team next year saying, well, if we would have retained Kareem, and, I mean, it's surprising that we have to say that now, but if we would have kept Kareem, we'd be fucking unstoppable in that secondary.
That's extremely crazy to hear because it'll be the same motherfucker, like I say, because, boy, I've seen a change of heart from the Texans fans, especially on a lot of the social medias, because it would seem like every day somebody was attacking Kareem Jackson. Oh, you this, you that, you this and you that, and you a clown and you trash and you this and all the dirty third. Now I don't see that so much. I don't see those same quote unquote Texans fans who used to say these things to Kareem. I don't see them around anymore. I don't know where they are.
I say it from the bottom of my heart. I was their season ticket holder for that 2010 season, his rookie year. I saw all the bad plays up close. I saw all. I was that fan. I didn't hit him up on social media or anything, but I was that fan. Like, this was a bad first round pick. This is not good, and that's how I referred to him when he got caught fucking videotaping the fucking cockfights out in fucking Puerto Rico or wherever the fuck he was. Yeah, he got caught at like some fucking cockfight where they're fucking fighting the damn roosters and shit. Yeah. But he was out of country, so the NFL never punished him for it. Yeah. But I mean, like, I was there for that season. I mean, the highlight of that season was watching fucking Andre Johnson put that beat down on fucking Cortland Finnegan. And I mean, I'm completely turned around on how I feel about Kareem Jackson from then to now.
Yeah. But see, here's my thing, though. I can understand because as a fan, I'm beating up the microphone and shit. I'm treating the microphone like Randy was getting done by Hopkins. But I can understand as a fan. I mean, shit. Come on, over there we go. Kareem getting burnt again. Goddamn, Kareem toast. I remember motherfuckers calling that. I definitely wasn't high on Kareem. I'm just like, he's in a bad position. You look at the pluses, but then you see Kareem got dusted again. But my thing is the people who would literally go and attack. Like, I have no problem, criticizing a player. I have no problem criticizing the coach and criticizing the organization. It's when people start taking shit personal, like that motherfucker fucked their sister or some shit, and be want to get all up in the DMs, yo, hoe ass nigga, you this, and it be the motherfuckers that ain't never they couldn't even make the fucking little league team when their mama paid for the whole deal, and you had to play, because your mama paid for you to play. You still couldn't get the team. I'm over there behind the car doing something special to the coach to get you in the game and shit, my boy good. He is good. He just need a chance. He just, what's your mama doing back there with Coach Johnson? What's going on over there? You know what I'm saying? Like, them type of motherfuckers, but they got the most to fucking say. They do the most fucking shit talking. We're never good at anything ever in their life. But, it is what it is. But, man, like I say, it's kind of crazy. But, Wise, man, your thoughts on that? Return to Hal and keeping Kareem Jackson. And then after that, we will open up the Sauceline for your texts and calls. Text, like Tech9. Text messages and calls. And let y'all splash some sauce on the line this evening.
They're gonna be saying the same thing about my boy K. Joe. They're gonna be saying the same thing about Kevin Johnson. I mean, he played one game. He didn't look too good in the first game, but did anybody in the secondary look too good? No, nobody did. Only Tyrann. So that's all I'm saying is when Kevin Johnson come back, he's gonna make a lot of people eat crow, except for me and Honcho and El Sticky Layer. So I just have to throw that out there. I'm telling you, you saying that right now, but when my boy Kato come back and put bullets on clamps, it's gonna be a different story. But I mean, it's important to keep Kareem Jackson now because you got to think about J. Joe's getting up there in age, and Kevin Johnson's gonna be a free agent. You got Aaron Colvin, but we all seen that Aaron Colvin is better in the inside than the outside. And I don't think he works too well on the outside as a corner. You got to pay him around the same figure you pay Aaron Colvin because he's putting up more production than Aaron Colvin. Aaron Colvin, I mean, he's did okay, but he ain't putting up the production that Kareem Jackson has been putting up. Kareem Jackson has been playing great. He's been flying off the ball. He's been flying off those blitz packages. He's been playing the ball in the air great. This guy's just been playing for his contract. So, I mean, he does deserve a payday, but he doesn't deserve a big payday, to be honest. He doesn't deserve no $9 million again because that's just absurd. And you got to play Jadeveon Clowney. But Andre Howell, I really love Andre Howell. Andre Howell was a guy that I was really hoping to see this season because every year since he's been here, he's been improving and improving and improving. For this guy to be a 7th-round pick and turn out to be a player like this is a steal for the Houston Texans. This guy plays with a lot of heart. This guy's a leader in the locker room. He's a ball hawk. ball hawk in the secondary. And this guy can also play corner. He was playing corner in college. The Texans could put him in a dime situation every now and then. So I think he's a key aspect to this defense, and it's good going forward to have this guy on this roster.
Y'all doing my boy K-Joe bad. Why my boy got to look like a dyke, man? Why y'all say he look like a dyke? Just because, hey, it is what it is, but y'all ain't got to do him like that.
He look like he got hit in the face with a frying pan and his nose all crooked and shit. Look like he should be talking, saying, I'm going to come back on the field and get interceptions.
Y'all hating on my boy. I'm telling you, look, he going to be all-pro, Hall of Famer. Gonna be you know what I'm saying? They gonna fuck up his statue. Gonna be looking like, who knows? You know how they be fucking their statues up and shit. Gonna be looking like nothing like the motherfucker is supposed to be. But here's the deal. Give me just a second. Un segundo, por favor. We're gonna open up the Sauceline. Let me do a brief audio check, and like I say, we'll open the Sauceline. We'll take some calls, man. Give me 1 second. Welcome back. We had, just like I said, to do a brief check. But we are back. We're going to open up the Sauceline again. Make sure y'all check out StaySaucy.com for the freshest Sauce Sports merchandise. All this so you can drip all over the city and get one for your grandma. You know what I'm saying? Because Honcho said so. But here's the deal. Well, give me 1 second. It ain't open yet. I'm about to open it up. I see y'all calling in. Let me unlock. Click, clack. Let me unlock the Sauceline. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to take some calls, man. And now Jay Dizzle sent a text message in saying, the thoughts on the Reed and Jenkins situation. Like I said, I hadn't got the full details on that, but we'll talk about that right after this. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the Sauceline this evening?
What's up, Honcho? This is Vince, man.
Vince, what's the motherfucking deal, man? What you want to drip on the line tonight?
Man, I just wanted to ask you a roundtable question, man. I was wondering about the wide receiver position, because with QT out, and I noticed that they put Irvin in the slot, and I was wondering about, seems like the receivers might be a little bit, banged up. What's going on with the additional receivers, like Coates or whoever else is on the roster? Why does it seem like there's just 3 receivers on the roster? So I was just wondering what you guys' thoughts about that.
No, man, great question. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I sure forget. I meant to talk about QT earlier, so I'm glad you brought that up, man. We definitely splashed some sauce on that. I appreciate the call, Vince. We'll talk about that right now.
All right.
Already. Man, brought up a very valid point, because I forgot about that. I did want to mention that QT not being available this weekend. Pardon me. It was a statement about, that we've been winning as long as QT's been on the roster and been available. But we take this call real quick. We'll get right back to that. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the Sauceline this evening?
What's up, Honcho? This is Trey, man.
What's the motherfucking deal, Trey? What kind of sauce you want to drip on the line tonight?
Hey, man, I just want to say this, bro. K-Joe is not it, man. He's not it, bro. He's not. Period. I know y'all want to believe in him, man, but it's bro.
Man,
he hasn't really done anything, to be honest. I know we used to shit on on Kareem, but it was some years Kareem looked shaky in the light. I'm glad he's doing good. He's doing better now. So, K-Joe not it though.
Already. Well, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Y'all gonna be hating on my boy till he, y'all be like, damn, that's the greatest corner that the Texans ever had. Man, I wish I'd have never said those things about K. Joe. But that's a bet, Trey, man. I appreciate you calling in, man.
All right, man.
All right, that's a bet. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, like, y'all just got to give him time to shine. You know what I'm saying? Right now, he's just taking roots. He's going to develop into a tree. You know, one of them oak trees. He's going to be a solid staple in this franchise for many, many years to come. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that was sweet. That was sweet there. God, that's that daddy. That was sweet. Let's take this call real quick. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the Sauceline this evening?
For Wabi.
Already. What you want to drop on the line tonight?
And what do you guys think about the offense? Like, possibly getting that rhythm? Like, I know, like, they have a hard time in the red zone, but when do you guys think the offense going to start clicking?
Okay. You say the offense.
Also, Devin Johnson is trash.
Y'all gonna stop hating on my boy, man. But that's the bet. I appreciate the call, man. But we go to catch this other call real quick. But I appreciate the call, man. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling in on the sauce line this evening? Hello.
Oh, sorry. What's going on, Honcho? What's going on, Roundtable? I need to understand what you guys actually see in Kevin Johnson. He doesn't deserve to be called K-Joe to me. He just deserves to be called Kevin Johnson. Yeah. This man hasn't done anything for us. I mean, yes, he did have a fumble recovery in 2016, but that's it. Give him some time to shine. Yeah, he has shined where the sun don't shine. He's not good. Besides, Kareem Jackson is playing very, 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 very well. So what importance does he bring?
All right. Well, that's a bit. We'll answer that question. I appreciate the call. We gonna take notes. So y'all gonna stop hating on my boy K-Joe. You know, like I say, sometimes, look, everybody was hating on what's his name, but then everybody cried when he left and went to Jacksonville because he wasn't solid all in the first few years. He finally developed. Now I know he wasn't the first round pick, and I know all those things. I know the Marcus Peters comparisons and all that other stuff. But all I'm saying, when K-Joe started balling, and then he catch out. And they're going to be like, damn, I wish we still had K-Joe like we had Bouye. Texans can't keep no corners, but y'all was all talking down on my boy. But y'all was all talking bad about my dude, man. You know what I'm saying? Saying he looked like Squidward. You know what I'm saying? Tenny say he going to be in the psych ward rolled up. King thinks he's going to have a CTE. Y'all saying he trash, talking about he hanging out where the sun don't shine. Y'all just doing my boy bad. We'll take this last call and then we'll pause the sauce line after this. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the sauce line this evening?
Hey, guys. My name is Myron. I'm from Needville, Texas. Wise, I see you're from Rosenberg, Richmond. Hi. How you doing, buddy?
What's good?
My question is, I just want to say that K-Joe is he's going to come back. He's going to have a concussion, and he's going to shit on himself. That's all.
Okay. Damn, yeah, like I said, all this K-Joe hate is unwarranted. I'm offended. I'm offended. I'm upset. We're going to pause the line for just a second, man. We're going to address some of these points. The only person who didn't call in,
you know what K-Joe is, man.
But he did make a good point, man. With Kuti being out, and the offense is looking like we're just limited on receivers. Because, again, Irvin as the slot, and that Fuller and Hopkins are capable of being versatile receivers. Coates, I'm not as sure so much. I think he's more of an outside guy. I don't know about his abilities in the slot, and not going to try to gamble and guess on that. Ellington with the injury, so he's not available. And I think people didn't forgot about Bruce with the emergence of Kuti. I think a lot of people forgot about Bruce. But the thing with Kuti is that he said it's not that bad, but it just won't be available Thursday. Would it be in such a quick game? I think if they said had it been a regular game, then he may have been available to play, but would it be on Thursday? And again, I don't think they're having a lot of confidence in the competition of the Miami Dolphins, and we're going to get on that as to why in just a second. But have they found their rhythm? Have they found their groove? I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I don't think the offense is necessarily ever it's the line more so, in my opinion, finding a rhythm in the groove. Because we have the talent in all the other places. Lamar Miller is a good running back when given the proper opportunities. As he showed, he can get you 100 yards when necessary. This line, you got to realize the same people who hate Miller and love Watson, you got to realize the same line blocking for both these guys. I know people say, well, pass blocking and run blocking are different. Yeah, but when they're equally trash, I mean, shit, what can you say about that? Both of these guys are getting hindered by the men up front. So, but about this offense finding its groove as a whole, but the offensive line is a part of that. I don't know. I mean, because again, it was only 139 yards through the air, and I'm not tripping on that because people are like, "Oh, well, Ramsey still shut Hopkins down. He only had 3 catches for 56 yards." Hey, if you get to score a touchdown on, that's not shutting down shit. I don't care if you got 1 yard for a fucking touchdown. The TD is what counts. We saw that amazing catch that Hopkins had on Ramsey, and it was good coverage from Ramsey, but it was just a better play from Hopkins, and that's what it is. You cannot, no one can cover that man one-on-one. I don't care what y'all say. And then when you're talking about 56 yards, shit, that was a third of the damn yards that were thrown. I mean, it wasn't like we weren't just putting airing the ball out all over the place. So if it would have been a different story, if you're talking about Watson had 200-300 yards, then Hopkins only had 50-something, that'd be a different conversation. I think there's still a few things that need to be tweaked in this offense, but we'll holler at the round and see what their thoughts are on that. We'll start with Tenny, man. What are your thoughts? Has this offense found their groove? What do they do with the limited usage of the receivers? And is Irving in that versatility, is that where that's coming in the key with using him as a slot guy? Because I think he played some of that, what was it, at San Diego State? So I think they used him kind of in a versatile manner too. What are your thoughts on
that? As far as Irving, man, he needs to stay where the fuck he's at. Because I'm not going to be playing this fucking game. I mean, I am not going to watch a fucking running back go into the slot. Fuck that bullshit. O'Brien can that shit's for the birds. That's what I got to say about it. Fucking, as far as what's going on, we need to have fucking coats out there more on a regular basis. And with Kiki down, they got to activate fucking Vincent Smith. I mean, it's better to have the 4 options than just the 3 options. I know. I fucking got fucking heartburn in my mouth finishing that sentence. Fucking, we just need the extra body out there. Fucking. So, I mean, what we got to do, I mean, this is to all the people that said, oh, you got to stay off of O'Brien's back. He's doing the best he can. It's player execution. Player execution is improving, but we're not seeing the fucking, the stat line that y'all want to see, the improvement in the red zone. They are improving in their execution of this. The penalties are still there, so that's a disciplinary issue. It's more of, those guys need to hold their water. I don't have a problem with the Will Fuller penalty because fucking cornerbacks are always grabbing on the receiver's hips, trying to turn them or hold their hands down. So fuck it, get a push off when you can get a push off. Fuck it all. But at the end of the day, man, fucking O'Brien has to become more creative with the talent that he has. He has to put them in better positions. Now, then you can come back and argue with me to your fucking blue in the face about execution if we don't get it right then. But we have to be able to hop out on a fucking island with one guy and do a fade. We have to be able to fucking, I kept going back to it. And I'm going to go back to it again with Larry Fitzgerald, where he went on a fade and he came inside on the slot and ran a fucking slant with a curl. Fucking, he scored on that next play. Fuck it, we need to use DeAndre Hopkins all over the field like we used fucking J.J. Watt all over the field, like we fucking move Jadeveon Clowney around. I mean, we have to get fucking Hopkins and Fuller more involved in more than just one spot on the field. If we do that, we will see a change in success. I guarantee it, guys. I know I'm not a head coach, but y'all got to see this shit too. We got very talented wide receivers, and we're just not using them to their full capacity.
Put the mic on. I can absolutely agree with you, man. I'm lying laughing because I'm looking at these comments, man. Y'all going in on my boy K-Joe, man. This is unacceptable. This is just unwarranted attacks on K-Joe. What did he do to y'all to deserve this blatant disrespect, this blatant hate? He comes from a good family. He's a good student. I just don't understand. Understand.
Honcho, you ever seen that video with the fucking English dude who's playing fucking volleyball and he keeps getting hit in the face? The man, the myth, the legend.
No, I'm gonna have to check that one out.
It's fucking K-Joe. He just keeps getting hit in the head and fucking getting knocked out.
I'm gonna have to check that. That's fucked up, man. Yeah, somebody talk about the first player I've seen knock himself out twice in the game. That's fucking funny, man. But Wise, man, your thoughts on the situation with the utilization of the depth of the wide receivers that we have available on this roster. Irvin playing a little bit in the slot. Kuti out. What kind of impact is that going to have? I mean, just your overall thoughts on that receiving situation the Texans currently have.
We should just move Kevin Johnson to receiver. This week. Pull him off IR, put him at the slot. It's going to be a fifth situation since everybody want to hate on my boy K-Joe this week. But in all seriousness, I don't want to see Tyler Irvin on offense. Tyler Irvin's trash to me. Tyler Irvin's trash all over around. I don't know why he made this roster. When you had Troy Maine Pope that was looking good, that was looking more explosive, a guy that can actually contribute to the running back position. Like Tenny said, you got to use this guy, DeAndre Hopkins, at the slot. You got to use this guy, Will Fuller, in the slot position. You can put Sammy Coates on the outside. Don't be scared to put Sammy Coates on the outside. I don't understand why we kept Sammy Coates on the 53-man roster if we ain't using him. I just don't understand that. The player management is terrible. That's been the biggest thing with Bill O'Brien is his player management and his time management. It's just management in general. This guy's trash at that. But to be honest, we're going to have to – I don't know, man. We just got to move guys around, give Sammy Coates some more looks. We might have to pull up a Vincent Smith, but we wouldn't have that this situation if we would have picked up Rashard Matthews. We wouldn't have that situation if we picked up Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant just sitting at home. He ain't that trash that he can't be playing on an NFL game. In the NFL game this week. But, the Texans won't make any moves like that ever in their lives. So, we just got to stick with Vincent Smith and hope he don't fucking get snagged on again by a defender.
Let's just not throw the ball to Vincent Smith at all. Here's my deal, though. I won't go with the complaints about Irvin simply because on the special teams he has been, I won't say he's busted anything wide open, but he's been, to me, in the last few years, the smartest special team returner. He gets what he can get. He doesn't overdo it. And he's been relatively secure with the ball. So I have no problems with that. I think he just, he takes what he can get and he's good with that. He'll get a little bit of a break, get your extra 10, 20 here, but it hasn't been any home runs. I think that's what a lot of people look for when they see those returns. They want to see a guy that can get you those home runs. But I'm not going to complain about that because the special teams unit overall has been solid, and so no worries with that. We were saying Urban had a catch for a nice first down. Said it was a 15 to 20-yard catch. So I don't know if I remember. I don't know if that was early in because I remember somebody saying Urban making a play in the chat I was in, but I don't know if that's when I was still down here. Fixing some stuff for the post game show, so I don't know if I caught that or not. So I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I know that catch. Yeah. He did get a catch.
He have a catch every other 7 games, 8 games.
Yeah, like I said, that shit is for the birds. I am not gonna be fucking watching fucking Tyler Irvin out there fucking trying to run route trees. He can't even fucking return a punt. So I don't want to hear that shit.
You'd be better off playing Lamar Miller at the slot and starting out for Blue at running back. If you're going to put Tyler Irvin at slot receiver.
Fuck it. If we're going to play around at the position, why don't we just put Joe Webb out there? He's a do-it-all kind of guy.
Hey, man, Webb for MVP.
I forgot he played receiver.
Yeah,
he should get some look at receivers.
Receiver, special teams, quarterback. He'll throw it to himself. After he scores, he'll kick the field goal. You know what I'm saying? Get off on kickoff return. He'll do it all. We got a text that says, ain't Braxton Miller on the Eagles practice squad? Why not pick him up and drop Smith? I think that kind of tells its own story. Honestly, if Braxton Miller went from being a guy on a roster for a few years to being a practice squad guy, I think that kind of tells its own story. Your thoughts on that? Y'all's thoughts on that one?
And the Eagles hurt for a receiver right now, and for them not to pick him up on the active roster, that tells a lot. So that's all I have to say about that.
We've all speculated what's going on with Braxton Miller, but fuck it. If he can fucking be brought on, it's not a bad idea. And
so Dez Bryant over Braxton Miller.
Hey, no, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. Fucking, but Dez Bryant over here on Twitter looking like a disgruntled veteran that lost his leg. Fucking talking about I did catch that ball. Why are you still tweeting about that shit, bro? Like this fucking kindergarten kids that know you ain't catch that ball. Come on. I'm fucking like if we brought Dez on, he's got to come in with an NDA, and fucking just keep your mouth shut and play the game. Don't get in DeAndre Hopkins' way because he will put hands on you.
Yep.
Got my mic on, that helps. So what I was saying is that was asking Wise about the Reed and Jenkins situation. Jay Dizzle text about, what are thoughts on that one. So, kind of just give the people a rundown as to what was going on with that whole little mix-up.
Oh, well, they was doing the coin toss and everything, and Malcolm Jenkins is a captain for the Eagles. And you just see Eric Reed come on the field, and he started yelling, and he was telling Malcolm Jenkins came up to him, he told him he was a sellout. He was like, you used Kaepernick movement, you really didn't do anything, you capitalized off the situation, well, why not even give him back? So he was pissed off about it. He wanted to throw hands with dude, and they got into the game, and that same energy went into the game because literally in the first quarter, a few later drives, you see this guy Eric Reed body slam Carson Wentz. I mean, he knocked Carson Wentz down after the play. It was like a good 10 seconds after the play, and then another 5 or 6 seconds later, he picks up Carson Wentz and body slammed him like a Batista bomb or some shit like that. So I don't know what Eric Reed really had going on. He had some personal vendettas with these guys, but dude was pissed. And that was a guy I wouldn't want to be going against.
Fucking wild. Boy, say Batista bombing motherfuckers out there. All right. Like I say, here's the deal. Sauceline is open for those of y'all who don't have the number. Let me drop the number for y'all. We'll take a couple more calls. But I want to start talking about the reason why the Texans should dismantle the fucking Dolphins coming up this weekend. The reason why is, one, the majority of the guys that are on this defense have played with Brock Osweiler, know his tendencies from going up against him in practice. The coach, O'Brien, knows his strengths and his weaknesses. And I think that he's been downplaying that a lot throughout the week this week because they've been asking him a bunch about, what about Brock? It was a long time ago. Oh, it was only 1 year. A lot of downplaying. But I'm sure Bill O'Brien is more than aware what he can capitalize on with Brock. Know your Texas video with Irvin. Yeah, I need to be dropping those, but goddamn. But yeah, I did because people was blaming me for the 16-0, so I didn't do the 16-0. Now people was blaming me for the 0-3 start, and you're damned if you do, you're damned. I see what it feels like being a damn Texan because people just gonna blame you no matter what you do. You do right, you're gonna get blamed. You do wrong, you're gonna get blamed. You can't win with some motherfucker. But basically, Bill O'Brien should have a game plan for this defense, or basically, Romeo Cornell should already know from seeing it firsthand too, because Cornell's year that he was here. I'm thinking last year, but that wasn't Vrabel. That was Cornell was here. Was the DC when Osweiler was here, so he saw where he struggled. When the guns would go against each other in practice, or whenever practice defense would go against whomever. Like he saw these things, so he saw the tendencies for himself. So they know where the weaknesses lie. Then again, with the mention of their top two receivers being out, very interesting situation. Brock will still turn the ball over. He's been having a couple of good games the last. Last couple of games, but I think of Brock Osweiler. I started out and getting bored. Start thinking about his gameplay and just think about giraffes in the Serengeti, galloping around and doing all kinds of shit. Anyway, so but about Brock, the Texans should have Brock's number easily. Now, Miami's running game is something to be concerned about. Slightly, but as far as them putting the ball in the air, if we can jump out on them early and like I said, punch them in the mouth, then I think you have a situation. And shout out to Spitz, man. If y'all ain't caught Spitz video, Spitz had a real good video because he said some things about that, about punching him in the mouth and take advantage of it. I think that you have the upper hand, because if you make Brock have to start throwing the ball, it should be a wrap from there for this Texans defense. I mean, they should be capitalizing on everything. But we'll start with Tenny. Tenny, your thoughts on why the Texans should have the upper hand against Brock Osweiler. We'll talk about Brock Osweiler specifically, then we'll get kind of more into it later in the week as we get into the game, close to the game. But just kind of talking about Brock specifically being an ex-Texan, and how should that fare for the Texans overall going up against him, this week?
That should fare pretty well because, I mean, we all know Brock Osweiler is Assweiler when you put him under pressure. He don't know how to make a fucking decision. And I think we have the fucking defense to do that. And as far as Brock Osweiler, I mean, going down your number one and number two receiver this week, that's going to hurt his ass big time because he already know he the side hoe. He ain't Ryan Tannehill. He know he the side hoe. Adam Gase just using him like a cheap $2 hoe. That's all it is. Fucking and Osweiler going to try to pump the nuts up of every Dolphin player, and every Dolphin player going to look at him because you know how he talks. He just got that shitty ass talk. Like, bro, just shut the fuck up before I slap you. What did I say? It's just your voice, man. Just shut the fuck up before I slap you. Just sit there and smile. Don't smile because your fucking smile is annoying. Just go look in the corner. I need you to fucking put your nose in the corner and just get out on the field when we need you to get out on the field. But I mean, the way the secondary is playing, the way our defensive line is playing, Brock Osweiler don't stand a chance, really. So I expect to see 200 passing yards, Brock Osweiler back. Fucking 1 TD, 3 interceptions, Brock Osweiler back. That's what I would expect to see. And Miami's just going to be sitting there with their mouth agape, just like, oh, I can't believe this. Because we all know all-time record says fucking Miami can't fucking handle Texans. I mean, they only won one game ever against us, period. And going forward in this game, like I said, it's not a trap game. It's just about preparedness. Our offense has to be prepared to some point in some facet to get at least. It's not going to take more than 17 points to win this game. Seriously, in all honesty, fucking Dolphins don't got what it takes to put them kind of points up on our fucking defense right now.
Okay. And it was funny because that one Miami game, I think that was the one game of the Texans that I did not watch. And for some reason, because I forgot what was going on that day, I had something going on. Like the one game, there were games like I had to work and stuff, and like I'd miss, I'd catch bits and pieces of them, like on breaks and stuff. But I think that's the one Texans game that I did not see a lick of it. And to this day, I just heard the stat line afterwards, and I was like, you know what? It's probably good that I did not see that game, that Lamar Miller ran all over us, because that probably would have broke something, and that would have been unfortunate. Wise man, your thoughts on how the Texans should be able to capitalize on Brock Osweiler this week, knowing his tendencies and him being a former Texan? What do you think how would that fall into their hands?
I'm glad you did bring that up because everybody is highlighting Osweiler return, but it's Lamar Miller's return against the Miami Dolphins since he left. So, I mean, expect Lamar Miller to have another 100-yard game against these guys. He's going to have a vengeance on these guys because he grew up in Miami. He was a hometown kid, got to play for the Miami Dolphins, and this guy going to be looking ready to eat against these guys. But Brock Osweiler, all you got to do is bring the blitz package. You can play man coverage this game, especially without those his 1 and 2. Kenny Stills is a good receiver in my books, but this guy, Brock Osweiler, does not have the tools to succeed. We're going to see another Blake Bortles out there, just one that throws interceptions instead of fumbling the ball, but he might do that as well, knowing him. All we need is a couple fans to get some lasers in the stands so he can go blame that after the game and be like, yeah, it's the fans' fault that they was putting the lasers in my eyes. I couldn't make the pass. That was the poorest fucking excuse I ever seen because you can never get the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. So this guy – all we have to do is have that rush come in. We need another good game from Jadeveon Clowney. We need another good game from J.J. Watt. And we need another good game from Whitney Merciless. I mean, those are 3 most talented guys on this defensive front. And I want to see them get going. I want them to pay this guy back for what he did to this defense when they had that prime and they was looking so dominant because he owes us. He owes $17 million, and he's going to take a $17 million ass whooping this Thursday night. And I hope J.J. Watt end this dude's career like what's this dude? Reggie White ended that dude from the Redskins' career. So I really want to see his career ended on Thursday night. And I hope he throw 5 interceptions because this guy does not deserve to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. It still baffles me that he is a starting quarterback. But like Romeo Cornell has been doing every week, he just has to be consistent and make adjustments and just keep applying those pressures, apply those blitzes from Tyrann Mathieu, Kareem Jackson, and then now Andre Howe.
So somebody asking for the number. We're gonna give y'all about 7 more minutes. We'll make it a square hour and a half. Then we'll wrap it up here shortly. So somebody asked 832-639-3747 is the number. 832-639-3747, aka Trip. So if y'all want to get your last few calls and or texts in, I see Chandler saying, "Hey, we beat Miami. Did we beat Denver?" Absolutely. I mean, Miami is beatable. Denver is beatable. This Texans team can legitimately move forward to 6-3. At the bye. And there's no reason why they shouldn't, but we'll see what happens. Because, I mean, again, any given Sunday, anything can happen. Unfortunately, usually it goes against us. Sometimes it does fall in our favor. So we'll see.
Let's not get over the moon about ourselves yet. It's still Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, I mean the Broncos. I wouldn't sleep on the Broncos.
The Broncos only got defense. We all know their fucking offense is trash, especially if you hold them up.
Yeah, but we playing in Denver, so I mean.
Yeah. I mean, it's the defense. I'm more worried about Denver's defense than I will ever be worried about their offense at this point.
Yeah, and the rest of this game is tough too. But other than that, we should be able to win the rest of the games.
Yeah, I think things, like I say, are. We'll just see. I mean, you take it a game at a time. Every game is a story, until the whole what do they call them? Not the epic, not the Odyssey. What the fucking shit is that fucking English literary term? That's what happens when you go to fucking English class high all the time and shit and don't remember shit. But anyways, when you got like the collection of stories or whatever, each game is the story and the season is the fucking collection, goddamn. Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. Y'all might know. Y'all probably ain't go to English class.
The overall picture.
Yeah, just the overall motherfucking picture. Y'all got the right understanding.
I got you.
So let's see. We got another text here. Goddamn, motherfuckers powering up, y'all. Goddamn noise. So we worried about Deshaun's lungs in that Denver game with the high altitude. It's a concern, but I think by that time, it's a couple of weeks from now, having an extended break after that Thursday game, I think it should give him some time to rest up and get some things in order. Because I think they were just saying it was a precaution as far as him not flying. Not that he couldn't, but they didn't want to take the risk, so they wanted to be more careful with him in a situation like that. You know what I mean? The Texans could have been some good teammates and say, "Hey, you know what, Deshaun, we'll ride with you." A couple of them could have rolled back with him.
Yeah.
They said his bus had a studio on it. He's talking about I might cut an album in this bitch. So that's very interesting to see.
What we should be worried about is him, Hopkins, and Clowney rolling up some packs when they in Denver. That's what we really should be worried about.
Keep an eye on him. You can't trust the motherfuckers with dreads. I don't trust no nigga with no dreads. They all smoke dope. Except for me, I'm the only one that don't smoke dope.
Pass the doji to the left now, son.
Says if the Texans were to fire O'Brien, who do you think would be the best fit for our head coach? I'm not even entertaining that right now. Because right now you're in a situation where you have no idea, and I know a lot of people are saying, Shaw and talking about old buddy Sweeney and all this. It's like, dog, why would they leave a collegiate program where they are basically gods, kings, and of their respective schools, getting paid more than O'Brien is getting paid? Because you already know McNair ain't gonna try to break no bread. This organization be so damn cheap with shit, and he's gonna try to say, "Oh well, you're an unproven college coach. They ain't gonna try to pay them a bunch of money, especially if they've never been in the league." So I'm making more money in college. I get my pick of the litter. People are coming to me to want to play because I have a quality program, and I basically get my say so, and I do what I want to. Ain't nobody talking shit about me. Ain't nobody hating on me or my team because I'm running it the way I want to run it. If they're going to go somewhere, they're going to go to another team who's going to break bread or who's going to be willing to, that's going to have some history behind it or something like that. I don't see either two of those guys coming. I talk about a lot of old school coaches, but again, I don't think the Texans would entertain a guy like Gruden or anything like that because of the way these guys want to run the organization. These old school guys want more power. The Texans are trying to keep that power divided. The Texans run the Texans front office runs the Texans like a business, not like a football team. And so they operate everything like in an executive manner. So the divisions of power are specific. You know what I mean? Now, will they get a guy from O'Brien that may have the same philosophy as him? Yeah, but there's still a division of power there. You know, and I think that's going to kind of how it's going to be. And again, like, so I don't see any guy who's had a historic credential just say, yeah, I just got to go coach the Texans. You're not going to put up with the extra shit that the Texans got going on. I don't expect to see a lot of changes with the Texans until some older figureheads, you know, move on to the next plane. And I still don't even expect to see that change happen if Cal takes over, because I don't see a difference in Cal. Like I told y'all earlier this year when he was, you know, when the Texans were 0-3 and he was coming out, well, you know, we're just gonna keep clawing at it, and you know, it is like I don't see the passion from these guys for it to be about being a winning organization. I see for these guys to be a profitable organization, and ultimately that's what makes them happy. I don't think they care about a Super Bowl. I don't think they care about any of that shit. I think we as fans honestly have more enthusiasm for this team than the ownership does. The ownership just, as long as the bucks keep rolling in, as long as people keep buying these tickets, as long as people keep spending money, and now with them having a winning record now, you know, sometimes we saw that stadium looking dusty, looking a little empty. That stadium's going to be right back full on Thursday night. That stadium's going to be right back full. And here's the thing too. It's funny because it was the Donald Trump was in town. Somehow, somebody, y'all motherfuckers feel a way to line up and fill out the damn Toyota Center, but y'all can't do that shit on a goddamn Rockets game night. What the fuck is up with that shit? The motherfucking lines outside the goddamn Toyota Center. The motherfuckers be talking about traffic and everything else, can't get to the damn Toyota Center. The motherfuckers been waiting there for a day and a half waiting on the goddamn president. Y'all can't go to no goddamn Rockets game. I seen some people out there, some damn Texas seats and all kind of other extra shit. God damn it.
That's that bullshit, man. That's that political bullshit. Man, we talked about that before in the private, but yeah, motherfuckers just get crazy over that shit. Sports, it's a different story.
I don't see how people love politics so much, man. I don't understand it.
Because they turn that shit into a sport. And, I mean, I'm not going to get on the soapbox, but, I mean, it's literally a sport right now. It's my team beats your team right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. A very good point. He said, Asma said because it was free. Well, it makes sense. That
fucking
sense,
old, you know? Nasty old youth pastor over there.
I would have been charging. If I was the president, I'd be charging $100 a head.
Man, what you mean? He charging? These motherfuckers donating.
They was going out. What's up, Brent?
Yeah, but they better donate some more.
That motherfucker finessing all these motherfuckers that go to that shit. He finessing them.
Osteen finessing dudes every Sunday, every Thursday night at church service. I'll be just like these pastors out here. Pay me every single dollar, every single penny. Man. That, like that one pastor said, God said, I need a private jet. I need some more gas. I need a new private jet. Y'all need to donate at least $300.
That shit.
Osteen on that H-Town hustle.
That was that Creflo Dollar that said that? What's the motherfucking deal, man? Who do we have calling in on the Sauceline this evening?
It's J Dizzle, Honcho. What's up?
Dizzle, what's the motherfucking deal, man? What you gonna drip on the Sauceline tonight, man?
Can't answer Mr. Wise there. He called me out. I have to just go ahead and let you have it. We got our ass beat, and then Rondo got his ass beat. I mean, it happened. You take L's from every now and then, so I ain't got no defense with that. He did some whole shit. He don't spit on nobody, man. Come on. I can't even defend that at all. I don't like Rondo no way, but that's beside the point. I also want to spill a little sauce about the Miami game and tell Wise that he dead ass wrong. We don't need the blitz to Brock Osweiler at all. Because if you remember when he was our quarterback, how many fucking tip passes did this motherfucker have? If they can't get to him, all they got to do is bat the ball up, let one of the linebackers catch the peak. There you go. I don't think they need to pressure him at all. Just rush with the front four or the 5 or 3 or whatever they want to do, and then drop everybody back in coverage. Yeah. I think that's pretty much all you got to do. We could beat them that way. And if we lose against the Dolphins, it's not only going to say something about O'Brien, but it's going to say a little something about Romeo Crennel, too. Because if we had those years in practice where he had his number 1 D going against this guy, and we can't figure out how to stop him, something is wrong. Something is really wrong.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with you on that one. That's the point. That's a very good point. I absolutely agree with you, man. I appreciate that one, Jay Dizzle, man. That's a very good point. We're going to speak on that.
All right.
We'll see. We got one more. We'll take this last one. Goddamn. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling in on the sauce line right now?
What's up, Honcho? This is Vince again.
Vince, what's the motherfucking deal? What you want to drip on the line?
Hey, I just had another quick question, man, about with the Texans being 4-3 and it's coming close to about that halfway point of the season. How close is the team for Dylan Cole to return?
Oh, that's a good question.
And then I'll just sit back and let you guys talk about that, because I was wondering, it's got to be close, I was thinking. So just wondering what y'all thoughts were.
Okay, man, I appreciate that one, Vince. We'll definitely talk about
All right.
All right. That's a bit. All right, man, I appreciate everybody who has called in to the sauce line. And we're going to take that. We'll make that the last. I see somebody else calling in, but we're gonna take that last one. It's gonna be the last call, and then we're gonna talk about a couple of things, and then we're gonna wrap it up, because I know these gentlemen have lives and families and things to tend to, and I got something to do my same. And then we'll get in the den a little bit later on. We'll be talking about tonight in the den. We'll be talking about the best TV moms, because it'll be a very interesting conversation. We didn't talk about it last night. We talked about body image. I don't know. I was halfway tired last night. But anyway, but he brought up some very good points, man. What Jay Dizzle said about not only questioning Bill O'Brien, but questioning Romeo Crennel, because he had the opportunity to see this firsthand, and know what this man is capable of doing. And then I kind of agree with you about, that you don't need to pressure him. I think that you could really beat, you could definitely beat him with zone coverage. I mean, you just disguise it a little bit, and because Brock is not the brightest cookie in the, I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to be the brightest Crayola in the box. I'm saying the wrong fucking analogy. He's not the brightest Crayola in the box, you know what I'm saying? Not the sharpest knife in the drawer. And, I just got to play better. You guys are going to see that, one day I'm going to have an interception-free game, and it's going to be great. But, my thing is that all you got to do is just disguise your looks and confuse Brock a little bit, and he's going to create turnovers. But I don't think there's any wrong way to beat Brock. I think you just have to be consistent, especially again with the two men out, there's two best receivers out, and having the knowledge of his skill set that we have. And again, it could not have improved that much after being cut from Cleveland, and everything else. So it's not like he's just going to be that good. And then the question from Vince was Dylan Cole and his timetable. And I thought his timetable was supposed to be about, 6 weeks or something like that? I can't remember exactly how long it was supposed to be. And it's been about 2 or 3 already. So I don't know if he's about halfway there or how much time. What happened? I think it was the third game. So I think it's been about 3 weeks, honestly. I think it was about the third game.
He can't come back to week 11.
To week
12.
Oh,
yeah. Got to be 8 weeks.
Yeah. Well, then that'll be a while for the cold world. But y'all's thoughts on the how would that make Romeo Crennel look if he can't go out there and annihilate the Brock Lobster?
Well, shit. I mean, we've already questioned Crennel this year. I mean, Rack has definitely drawn that eerie upon himself, because there's some games where this defense did not look prepared at all for what they were going up against. And honestly, he's turned it around. Every game that so far has looked like the defense has showed up. They did their due diligence. They had their homework turned in on time. They knew what they were doing out there on this field right now. But yeah, definitely, it depends on the situation though. If we lose to the Dolphins and it's not the defense's fault, but it's the offense's fault, then you can definitely put all the blame on O'Brien. Like, the defense can go out there and have a stellar-ass fucking game, but O'Brien's play calling and lack of execution from the players, that's all, like, throw that out. If it creates a turnover in the red zone, how do you stop a field goal? Like, seriously. Like, field goal blocks don't happen on a regular occasion, so you can't really hang that up on the defense. As long as they have that bend but don't break mentality, I mean, the Dolphins could beat us 3-0 with just one field goal. So, I mean, it's not exactly everything that can fall onto the defense, because at the end of the day, it takes the opportunities for the offense to capitalize on.
Yep. Exactly.
Because I was going to say, this game is what's the word? Not cohesive, not symbiotic. I can't think of the word. But basically, all these things work in cohesion. The defense, relies on the placement from the special teams, also benefits the offense, field position, and things like that. Those quick turnovers and great field position benefits the offense. Being able to sustain long drives benefits the defense because, if the offense can keep the ball on the field, the defense can rest. They can play harder when they're out there. I mean, all of these things are factors. It's I don't want to say it's yin and yang, but, there all are factors in this game that one side of the ball affects the other side of the ball even when they're not on the field. So you got to understand how important that is, and that's why having a complete team playing a complete game is of the utmost importance to see continued success. And I still don't feel like we've had a game where everything has been put together. I know a lot of people were upset like this last game, as far as the second half with a lot more of the running. I'm not tripping on that because people say we didn't score that much in the second half because I don't think that they were trying to put Deshaun in harm's way, and I'm okay with that. If we had a quality lead, and there was a couple, like I said, because there was a couple of looks Deshaun was missing, but no turnover, so I'll take that. And I think he was being a bit smarter with the ball, not forcing anything this week. So as long as we came out there with a solid W, I'm okay with that. And that was the best W of the year, so I'm not even going to complain. But, man, we're going to get ready to wrap it up. You guys got anything you want to say before we get up out of here?
Shout out to Jay Dizzle for eating his crow because most of y'all punks in the chat, y'all can't accept y'all crow. Y'all be all hiding behind the camera, talking shit in the chat, but y'all can't fess up to y'all crow. So I got to say shout out to Jay Dizzle because he a real one. He always come through on the den. Make sure y'all follow through to the den as well. I think it's only like 5 more subscribers to 500, so get Honcho to 500, man. Follow everybody, subscribe everybody in the round table, and also shout out to Jag. What's his name? Jagging off. Yeah. It's good that he got to fall through on the sauce, and I got to rewatch the show today, and it was a pretty good show.
Good shit. And man, that you mentioned it, I believe somebody said that UCF Jaguar showed some love, so shout out to UCF Jaguar. Said he showed some love to Sauce Sports, Sauce Nation, so definitely appreciate that. You show love, we definitely going to show love back. It's all love over here. Tenny, man, you got something you want to say?
Yeah, man, shout out to the chat, guys. Y'all always show up. Y'all always in. Y'all make the phone calls. Y'all make the texts. Y'all add to this flavor every single time, and y'all always help guide this conversation. So give yourself a pat on the back because not only that when people with other channels recognize us, they recognize y'all too. They see y'all and they see the contribution because they roll through. They see the chat line pop off. They see the fans of other teams in there conversating. Even though everybody talks shit to each other every now and then, I just want y'all to know that that's that flavor that makes this shit the livest thing on the fucking internet right now, or at least YouTube as far as when sports comes to it, because we're fans talking to fans. We're not fucking Ivy League fucking writers fucking sitting up on some perch telling you how it is because that's how we see it. I mean, we're conversating with each other. We say shit that pushes buttons, and y'all jump on it too, and then y'all push buttons too. So I mean, this is pushing the envelope. Thank you very much for y'all's contribution to the show. Thank y'all very much for the contribution to everyone that's part of the roundtable. You guys are awesome and amazing. I just want y'all to know it.
And yes, and I appreciate the shout out to the Den Wise, and I appreciate the Wise, man. I appreciate Tenny coming through, man, and holding down. I appreciate the whole round table. So shout out to Spit, shout out to Wink, shout out to Breaking News Braylon, shout out to Ray, shout out to Swisher, shout out to Scrooge and Takeover, shout out to Phoenix, who was in the Jags game. He was in Jags territory yesterday, eating chicken and fighting Jags fans and shit. No, I'm just talking shit. He probably was eating chicken though. But like I say, man, just shout out to everybody, man, who holds it down, who just comes through and reps it. And I appreciate, each and everybody who comes through, every night, because again, like I say, dedicating the time just, to talk sports, to share with the people. Shout out to everybody in Sauce Nation who comes through showing love in the chat. Shout out to everybody who shows love through the super chat, everybody who fucks with the Den. Yeah, and like I say, follow the Den, I think it's 5 or 6 left to get to 500. But again, like I say, it's not for everybody. But if you like good conversation, and sometimes we go off the rails, and no matter what your belief is, like I say, the Den, we're all friends in the Den. So it's just about opinions, and we're exchanging exchange of ideas. Where because nowadays, everybody gets mad whenever you disagree with somebody. Oh, you're a fucking idiot. You're so fucking stupid. And you can't, like, there's no discussion anymore. There's no debate. There's no understanding why people feel the way they feel. And I think that's what the Den is more so about. Just having everybody being able to have their opinions uncensored, whether you agree or disagree, but being able to explain why you feel the way you feel. And so if you like that type of conversation, man, go check out the Den. If not, man, I'm just glad you're here in the sauce. But with that being said, man, hey, Sauce Nation, y'all are the freshest motherfucking ingredients. Even if you're not a Texans fan, even if you're not a Rockets fan, you just come through because you fuck with the sauce, you fuck with the flavor, man, and we appreciate that. Hey, but most of all, go hit that description box down below. Go show everybody some love, man, because all these gentlemen put in a lot of time and effort showing love to this, stirring up the flavor each and every night. So, man, the least you can do is show them some love, give them a subscription, subscribe, give them a like, check out their videos. Because, again, these gentlemen put in a lot of work, and I appreciate it. I know the people of Sauce Nation appreciate it, so I want to just give y'all another thank you. But with that being said, y'all the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world. Sauce Nation, y'all be cool like y'all be cool. And we're chunking up a deuce. And shout out to A. Cardinal and Gerard Tyler, because they, I think, both subscribed during the stream. Y'all the freshest motherfucking ingredients. But with that being said, we out.